Hey, what's going on, YouTube? Disappeared for good. Welcome to Saturday morning in Ohio. It's actually not raining in Ohio. It might be a first for a live video. I think every time I do a live video, it's raining nasty. You can tell it's nice and bright out and nice and sunny here finally. I'm going to be doing a live for about the next hour. If you have any questions, just drop them up. If I miss your questions, what's going on, Berlin? If I miss your questions, just post them up again. And if I miss them again after that, just head over to Instagram. Send me a DM at Ben the Barman. What's going on, Anders? Send me a message on Instagram and let me know your question. I answer every question. And some questions I actually turn into video topics. So how's everybody going this morning? What's going on in New Jersey? Big Lee in Tennessee, Gladiator from New Jersey. Good to have you guys here on Saturday morning. What's everybody up to out there in your part of the world? We're going to sit here and work all day long. I have a seminar in Ohio next weekend, and I'm going to be talking some power building for 2 days straight, trying to get geared up for that and all that kind of good stuff. Before I get into your questions, what's going on, Ben? Before I get into your questions, just a reminder that if you need some assistance with programming, you can head over to my website, superlivingtoday.com. I have Massive Iron, which is about a 200-page book with 20 different types of programs that'll help you maximize any workout system. I have my bench press course over there, which has a bunch of different bench press workouts. If you're frustrated with your bench press, go check that out. It's at Super Living Today. Go get yourself a Massive Iron t-shirt. I only make a couple bucks off them. Buy me a coffee. All right. Let's see. Ben on Adventure said, just between sets of dumbbell lunges, says few legs are toast and still have 2 sets to go. Dumbbell lunges, you know what? I love doing body weight lunges. I do them back here in my little gym. And body weight lunges are one of my favorite finishers and one of my favorite things to superset on when I'm training legs. So Gladiator has cardio and abs. Get after it. Berlin, Ghoul. My friend started gym with me and wanted to start 5x5, but was too weak to lift an empty barbell for bench and squats. Any advice? If you can't lift a barbell or dumbbell, or excuse me, if you can't lift a barbell, you're going to have to probably do goblet squats for a while with a kettlebell or dumbbell. You're probably going to do other foundational strengthening exercises like a bunch of body weight squats. Probably need to do about 50 to 100 body weight squats 3 to 4 times a day. And on bench press, you're going to need to get the dumbbells out and get the 10s or 15s and do a lot of volume. And that's my best advice. And just spend a month or 2 strengthening your foundation. And from there, then you can start to move on to a barbell. What's going on, Anders, in Denmark? Jeff Martin is from Jersey as well. I did some filming once in Jersey. It's been a while since I've been back to Jersey. But I've been in the Jersey, Philly, New York area, I don't know, 7 years ago, filming Vic Costa, who has a YouTube channel. Oddly enough, and a little bit of a story, Vic Costa, if you search him on YouTube, he was kind of, wasn't really into YouTube, and I told him, hey, Vic, you look great. Just take off your shirt and start making videos. And I went up there to film him in New York, and he took off his shirt and started making videos and actually started making a career out of this stuff, if you can believe that. Let's see, Danielle Khan, good evening from Singapore. How's it going in Singapore? Are weighted chin-ups enough for the biceps, or is isolating it still necessary? Look, weighted chin-ups are a great exercise, but I know there are some people out there in the fitness realm who don't see the value of isolation exercises, and that's quite ridiculous if you ask me, because when you get done doing a compound exercise, and I spoke about this in my time under tension video a couple days ago, you need a reasonable volume. You need a reasonable time under tension. And when that compound exercise is done, if you've worked it properly, it's really hard to jump into more sets of compound exercises. At that point, you really need to progress to something that's a little bit less taxing, like a machine exercise or so on and so forth. So I like doing a stressful exercise, a challenging exercise, like weighted chin-ups, but then I would progress and do an isolation exercise just to get in some extra time under tension, some extra volume. When you do weighted chin-ups, though, don't do them for low rep sets. Don't do them for low rep sets. Make sure you're doing them for 8 to 12 reps or something like that, or even 8 to 15 reps. Add weight in that range. It's going to treat your arms better. It's going to treat your joints better. Get strong in those rep ranges. Let me get back to the questions here. I message all my clients to let them know I'd be on live, but they're still blowing up my phone. So I think a lot of them are overseas. They're still trying to figure out the time zone thing. Again, if I miss your questions, post them up again. I'll try to get to them. If I miss them, head over to Instagram at Ben the Barman. Send me a DM. If you need coaching, I offer a free month. First month of coaching is free. You could message me on Instagram as well. Back to the questions. No more commercials. Gunther, can you get a optimum chest with only dumbbells? Absolutely. One thing you guys need to understand is that if you take any form of resistance, you can find a way to make that work. Now, can you get an optimum chest with just dumbbells? Well, there's a couple variables. I mean, do you have enough weight on the dumbbells? I mean, there's a difference between having up to 40-pound dumbbells and having up to 100-pound dumbbells. If I have access to 100-pound dumbbells, I can get those up to 15 rep sets. I can do rest pause work with them. I can do push-up supersets with them. I can do a lot of work. If I have 100-pound dumbbells, I can do 20, 25 rep sets. I can do things like push-ups to complement that. There's all kinds of things you can do. But if you only have a light set of dumbbells, it's going to be much more challenging, and you're going to need to get much more creative. If I only had access to like 40-pound dumbbells, I'd probably have to do them for an hour long of a set, supersetted with push-ups. And even then, I'm not sure if it would be optimum development, but I sure could beat the living crap out of my chest. So not sure if that answers your question. Good morning, Chad. The Gladiator says the Massive Iron book is great if you don't already own it. Thank you, Chad, or excuse me, thank you, Gladiator. I appreciate it. Turbo says, Steve, should beginners start training with machines or free weights? If they are a teen and they still are kind of, a little bit not exactly super coordinated, they should probably spend some time with body weight stuff. Body weight squats, push-ups, maybe even assisted push-ups, assisted dips. Sometimes when I get somebody that's fresh as a trainee and they aren't quite ready, some people just aren't quite ready for a barbell on their back. They need a month of stabilization. They need a month to, to build up some kind of foundation and be a little bit less shaky. Then I typically have them do dumbbells, lighter dumbbells for a lot of reps. So I can't always say I make everybody jump into barbells right away. And I've trained my fair share of people. But, if somebody's really shaky, I'll probably build their base on dumbbells for a month, and then we'll move on to barbells rather quickly, just to get some of the shakiness and just to build up a little bit of confidence before they hit the barbells. Derek, T94. Steve, how would you program HIIT-style sprints for an advanced lifter on a cut? Let me get some caffeine here. High-intensity interval training for a lifter on a cut. Well, I'm going to ignore the cut part because basically sprints are basically the same thing. If I'm going to do something like HIIT sprints, I'm probably going to go on an oval or on some kind of a track with a loop and sprint all out for, 10 seconds, 15 seconds, whatever you want to do, and then walk the rest of a mile. So basically, you could go out and just sprint as far as you could sprint. You don't even have to really time it. You don't have to get really super scientific with this stuff and, major in the minor. Some people might disagree, but at the end of the day, it's just exercise, and we don't have to nail it down to the specific seconds. But you could go out and just sprint as fast and as far as you could. And then when you felt like you're at your limit, then just stop and walk until you catch your breath and just go out and sprint again. And, you could time it if you want. You could do 10 to 15 seconds or 8 to 10 seconds. I mean, sprinting longer than 10 seconds is difficult. Sprinting all out is going to be extremely explosive. There's kind of different degrees of sprinting. You can sprint fast or you can sprint all out, if you know what I'm saying. So I would kind of just sprint fast for about 8 to 10 seconds and then just recover for the rest of the minute, or sprint fast for up to 15 seconds if your conditioning level is there, once your conditioning level is there, and probably do that for 15 minutes. If you can do hill sprints, that's really the way to go. I mean, hill sprints, anything. When people ask me about cardio and preferred methods of cardio, I'd rather see them going up a hill in some way. If you're doing like a Stairmaster is good, hiking is good because you usually have elevation changes. If you're on a treadmill, get some elevation. That'll really increase the amount of calories you're burning and increase the challenge a little bit. So I hope that helps some. Sergio, I hear somebody coming. It might be my wife. What is she doing back there? I don't know what she's doing. Sergio says, what's up, Steve? What is the best way to work pull-ups? Can't do one. What's going on? Hey, look who it
wanted to say hello.
People think you disappeared because you haven't been on my videos much lately.
They think I went on holiday.
Why are you wearing my blue dress?
I wanted to say hello to all the sexy people.
Yeah, tell them to stay sexy.
They already are.
Tell them, like, get a really deep voice like this and say, stay sexy people.
Stay sexy people.
All right, I'll get back to you. Get back to your sewing. Go make me some money. Sorry, let me get back to the pull-ups now. Sorry, my clients are starting to blow up my phone. I don't think they know what time 10 o'clock Eastern is. Let me get that out of there. Let's see. Let me get that out of there. Where is the pull-ups question? Sorry for the delay. Sergio, what's the best way to work on pull-ups if you can't do one? If you can't do one, you're going to have to find some piece of equipment where you can start building up exercises that are a little bit of a step down, like inverted rows. You can get a bar. You can, like, the Smith machine is good for this. You can elevate your feet and do kind of like a barbell row. It's like a row. It mimics almost a pull-up, except it's more of a horizontal row. You can do that on a Smith machine. You can see the TRX thing I got here on the door. Those are really, really good. I find that to be a really good exercise. I would probably, if you can't do one pull-up, either do assisted pull-ups, TRX pull-ups, or both, like 3 to 4 times a week, and do them for volume, like 50 reps a day, and just try to work on improving your strength in assisted pull-ups and TRX pull-ups, and just see what you can do. Pull-ups can be very difficult exercise for a lot of people. They're very difficult for me. And one of the regrets I have is not spending more time with them when I was younger. So you got to attack them, and you got to be patient, and you got to get creative, and you got to, whenever you're weak at a body weight exercise, it's best to do them multiple times a week. You can also do things like slow negatives, like controlled negatives on the pull-up rack. But you can do like a slow negative, and then you can work that in with some band-assisted pull-ups. Just do those at least 3 times a week. Ben on Adventures, I bought a pair of adjustable dumbbells a year and a half ago that adjust from 5 to 100 pounds. Best investment I made on equipment. Those are wonderful for home gyms. I have the spin locks, and those kind of are a pain in the ass to change. You kind of have to have 2 spin locks. Let me show you my big one. Hold on, don't go anywhere. So this is my big one, all right? That's my big spin lock, and that holds up to like 200 pounds on rows. But you can't really use those, for the smaller exercises in a home gym. You need kind of the handle that's about 2/3 of that size. So you need a couple handles at home, and those can be a real pain in the butt. So adjustable dumbbells look like a good choice. Anyway, Patrick, happy new trekking for 2019. Hope you guys crush your goals in 2019. Turbo says, push-ups every day, okay, or too much? What's going on, Terry? Terry trains at the Tiger Fitness Gym. Good to see him on board. Push-ups every day, too much? Nah. I mean, we did those every day in the military. You just need to watch for overuse injuries. and just be reasonable. It's good to take some rest from these types of exercises. Like it'd probably be better in the long run to do 2 days on, 1 day off, 3 days on, 1 day off, or something like that. Take a day of break, take a day of rest, excuse me. And at the end of the day, if you want to be proficient at body weight stuff, and this is just my non-calisthenics, non-expert, because calisthenics and body weight stuff isn't my expertise, but I do have a lot of experience with them. I can tell you that it's probably best to do them every other day over the long run. You can maintain a good level of conditioning, you can maintain a good rate of improvement, and you're allowing your body some time to recover, so you're not beating the living crap out of your body. So that's just my opinion. Tom McGivern. Sorry I'm late. That's okay, Tom. Just leave a beer by the door, and that'll be your penance. I was laughing my ass off at EDFF showing Elliot House going AWOL. A lot of crazy people in YouTube fitness, aren't they? I mean, I've seen a lot of them come by my door or come by my office, and there's some crazy people out there. There really are some just ego-drunk folks. If you're going to get into this game, you need to check yourself and try to stay humble. It can get maddening in YouTube as well, with all the people that are constantly beating you up. Like, I get people that beat me up for wearing a hat. I get people that beat me up when I don't wear a hat. I get people that beat me up when my beard gets too long. I get people that beat me up when my beard gets too short. Like, everybody has a stake in you, and I'm just like some dude with a camera in the middle of Ohio just giving exercise advice. So it's a strange world. Big. Oh, let's see. I almost missed a question here. Big Body 420. What's good, Steve? The Bronx checking in. What's going on, New York? Bartowski. Should I do more curls or extensions to keep my elbows healthy? I will tell you that a lot of people develop elbow issues from curls and extensions. And there's a couple pieces of advice I would give you. Number one, do a few more warm-up sets. I have found that the more I warm up my elbows before curls or before like skull crushers or even tricep extensions, the better they feel when I do my working sets. So I would probably do 2 to 3, probably three warm-up sets, before doing these exercises. Really light, obviously, but for 10 to 15 reps, get the blood flowing, get the heat up in these in the joints and then the muscles and the tendons. And when you go to do your rep work on these types of exercises, don't go low reps. Don't go 8 and under on this stuff. I really recommend 10 to 12 to 15 reps on arm work, because that's a good arm work. You're not going to progress as quickly. And the higher rep stuff, and I call higher rep stuff, 12 to 15 reps, is relatively less intense, and it's going to treat your joints better over the long run. That's just my opinion, but I think it's reasonable and sound advice. So just some things to think about. Danielle Khan, I'm sorry if I mispronounce your name. Danielle is from Singapore. Do you think pausing at the bottom of dips could work similar to pause benching, or is it too risky? That's a very, very good question. The deeper you go in the dip, the more your elbow is back or elevated relative to the angle of your, that looks really silly, but relative to the angle of your shoulder, the more stress you're going to place on your shoulder. I would say that I would not personally find a lot of benefit in doing pause dips. I would rather see you become proficient at rep work on dips. If you can go into the gym and knock out 50 dips like they're nothing nearly every single day of the week, then you're in a really good place with that body weight exercise. And I don't feel like a pause would add really anything to that mix. If anything, it'll just add potential stress and strain on the shoulders as you're trying to maintain tightness. So if you want to increase your dip game, I would get a weighted belt and slowly add weight, but do so in a higher rep range. Don't try to do 3 to 5 rep sets on dips. In general, I mean, if you want to test yourself every now and then, go right ahead. But I just don't see any value in it. Do that sort of stuff with higher rep sets. That's I think a better option. Nard Puncher, I'm doing 100 days with no booze. Feels like day 90 already. Welcome to my hell. I got a program called 10-100 over at my site, Super Living Today. It's 100 days of clean eating, a lot of exercise, things like no sugar, no flour, no alcohol. Just see what we can do in 100 days. See what 100 days, how 100 days can change our life. And Nard Puncher is doing 100 days without booze. And if he said it feels like day 90, I would tell you I love my beer. I just love my beer. That's one of the hardest things to give up. I love anything that's above 8%. It just calls out to me like a siren in the night. It's just calling to me. So, Tom, did you look into the cardboard cutout of the old Steve for your new space? That would be kind of funny to have an old cardboard cutout. But no, I don't even know where you could get those made. If somebody knows, let me know. Zen60, I'm a Buddhist. Big, hairy, ugly dude-ist. Thank you. I follow the teaching of the Bhagavad Gita, the massive iron book. Thank you. Thank you for joining into Buddhism, where we keep it simple. We don't overcomplicate things. Where we're not afraid to just do the basics and just be happy with it, and all whatever that stuff is. We just kind of boil things down to their essence. We get all Zen up in here or something. I don't know. Nard Puncher, after clean eating with no cheat meals for 100 days too. That's a really good, one of the things about doing a 100-day challenge where you're completely strict is it's very military-like. It's very basic training-like, where you don't have an out plan. And it won't just change you physically. It just won't improve your health. It'll also improve your mental health. You'll pick up this degree of confidence, like it'll open your eyes. I can do a lot of things for an extended period of time when I just dig in. And that's really the value of doing a 100-day challenge like this. Again, if you guys want to learn more, head over to my website, superlivingtoday.com, and look for 10-100. Patrick Keenan, should people get joint flexible first before doing heavy squats? I guess heavy squats is relative. I mean, if people should really, I guess you're meaning just progressing on squats. I really don't think the average person needs to go under 6 to 8 reps on squats. And I know everybody likes 5x5. So just, I'm not trying to create a rule here, but the average person really can do a lot of damage on 6 to 10 reps range in squats. So, should they get flexible? Honestly, the best answer for that is most people. I know when people look at squat videos on YouTube, on Instagram, on these Facebook groups, somebody will post it on my group, Massive Iron, and somebody always talks about your flexibility. And there are a lot of coaches out there that talk about flexibility, and that is fair enough. But when I look at somebody's squat, what I know is that I can fix it. There's a 99.9% chance I can fix their squat. I can get them deep enough. I can get them more upright without having to worry about flexibility work or mobility work or all this other stuff. And I'm not saying that stuff doesn't have value, but when you are looking at somebody's squat, there are different components. You have flexibility and you have form. Now, the first thing you need to fix, the most imminent thing you need to fix on an exercise is the form. You need to get the form fixed. And then if they need to do flexibility work afterwards, or stretching or some kind of mobility work or whatever, then do it. But you also have the weight factor. There's a lot of big people. We live in a big culture that are trying to squat and deadlift, and because of their body and the weight they're carrying around, and their leverages change and things get all wonky, and they have much bigger legs and a much bigger belly, and things just get all kinds of crazy. So some of these people just need to lose weight as well. So just remember that the next time you see a squat video go up and people rush in to tell them to do mobility work and flexibility work and all this kind of stuff, most people just need a good squat coach, just need somebody like me that knows how to fix a squat to come in and say, hey, this is what you need to do on your squat. And you probably need to lose 40 pounds as well, just so you can make it to, age 60 and still be squatting. But that's a long ramble. So just a reminder, guys, if I miss your question, head over to Instagram at Ben the Barman and post it up or send me a DM. Ben on Adventures, what are your thoughts on dumbbell flies? I currently do them. Are they a good move to add? The thing with dumbbell flies, and I think I spoke about this, is like we tend to do them with the elbows up. And if we bench with the elbows flared, it puts a lot of strain on our shoulders. When you're doing a dumbbell fly, I find you want to drop them down a little bit and bring them up like this, almost like a cable crossover. If you do it like this, you can really feel that chest work. They're much more friendly on the shoulders, which I did flies wrong for a very, very long time. I would do them more with the elbows flared like this. And once I learned to drop my elbows a little bit and kind of punch up or lift them up a little bit like that, that's when they started feeling better on my shoulders. That's when I started feeling better contractions. So with an exercise like flies, you can certainly do them. Just kind of fudge around a little bit and find that magical area where you don't feel the strain on your shoulders and where you're feeling a good contraction. And when you do an exercise like that, do them for volume. They're like a volume exercise. They add in time under tension and additional stress after you've done your compound movement. So I hope that helps. Let's see. Let me grab some coffee. Ben on Adventure says, hiking and backpacking is easily my favorite cardio. And you know what? That is, hiking and backpacking is easily in the top 3 things that everybody should do physically. Get outside, get in nature, reduce some stress. Hiking, being in the sun, hiking has been shown to help with depression and anxiety and just reconnecting with nature. I am a hiking nut. I'm an outdoors nut. That's something I absolutely love. I love getting outside. Any given day, like on a Saturday, I love you guys, but I would rather be out deep in the woods right now just for 10 straight hours, finding my way on some obscure trail. So, let's see, Brad, how would you recover from a shoulder impingement? There are some things you can do out there that have been shown to possibly assist with a shoulder impingement. And I want to put that caveat, I want to put that caveat on there. That's the problem with doing live videos. If you have to burp or you get a little bit of heartburn, you guys have to deal with it, right? So I've seen some stuff like people doing, extended holds or extended hangs and all kinds of stuff for shoulders impingement. Do some research on shoulder impingement and exercise protocols. There's some good information out there. I've done some stuff myself. I've tested it out myself. Some of it seems to have value, some of it doesn't have value, but at the end of the day, you really need to consult with a doctor and consult with people that are experts in shoulder impingements, because I am not one. What's going on, Sleazy TV, the sleaziest of all TVs? Bob Schmidt, Steve, I literally can't get into the bottom of a squat. What should I do? Bob, there is a video I have on my channel called Pick Up the Quarter. And if you can't get in a squat using the Pick Up the Quarter method, then I would be surprised. But I'd need to know more information. Bob, you can message me on Instagram. Send me a video if you can, just trying to get into a bodyweight squat. I'd like to take a look and see what's going on. See if I can give you some quick tips. Ryan, been watching you every day for the last while. You seem legit. Thank you, Ryan. I appreciate your support. I'm not here to baffle you guys with bullshit. I'm not here to, come up with some magic system. I just love exercise. I love staying active. And, there's a lot of information out there, Ryan, and people give you all kinds of exercise variations and all kinds of diet information. And really, for most of us, we just want something simple and fun and enjoyable that's not going to beat us up, that's going to make us strong, that's going to make us feel good, that's going to make us look good. And that's kind of what I'm all about. The information I give to you guys is just the information I live by, and I just try to keep it simple, so I appreciate your support. Aussie Loser, I think I'm going to go do parkour. Have fun, get outside, getting that fresh air and have fun. Andre, what's going on from Romania? We have Romania, we have Singapore, Mr. from Canada. Let's see. And Don Yal Khan says, yes, Steve, you did pronounce my name correctly. Score one for the big, hairy, ugly dude. Danielle's from Singapore. Adam, hey, big, hairy, ugly dude, I'm finding it hard to get back in the gym. Any tips? Adam, I get this question a lot. I just got this question yesterday on my Facebook Messenger. There was a guy that was messaged me, and he says he goes to the gym and he just doesn't have any motivation. He sits in the parking lot and plays Netflix movies. And you know what? If you're at that point where you just don't find the gym fun, and we all go through phases, man, I've been doing this stuff for 33 years. And sometimes I just don't find the gym fun. Sometimes you're just mentally bored. Go do something fun, physical, that you like. Go do something different. Go try something different. Go on a freaking long hike. Do something to challenge yourself. Do something that makes you feel alive. Do something that excites you. Go take up running. Go rollerblading. I don't care. Go do something. Go get a TRX thing and just go do some body weight stuff. Just get active. Just don't put pressure on yourself. We can be so pressured to turn exercise into a burden when we need to keep it fun. And YouTube Fitness does such a wonderful job of providing information overload and stealing the life and the fun out of exercise. And people will debate minor points to no end like it's life or death. And they just absolutely steal the life and the fun out of exercise, like somebody doing rack pulls above the knee. And you have a whole army of people who will just get so fired up and angry about it. It's just fucking exercise. It's just some guy challenging himself in a fucking room with a fucking barbell. Just fucking relax, douchebag. So, not you, but the guy attacking him, you know what I'm saying? So, to get back, sorry for the rant, but, sometimes I just got to speak the truth. Just do something fun. Just do something fun. Go challenge yourself in some new way. Jeff, always a coffee. You hooked. I'm always hooked on coffee. I'm old. Let's see. Matthew, how often should you test your 1 rep max on the main compound of lifts? Never. You don't need to test your 1 rep max. I mean, you can test them once a year if you want. Just do it properly, but you don't ever need to test your 1 rep max. I mean, I didn't test my 1 rep max till my first powerlifting meet. That was, I don't know, I was lifting for 30 years by then, or 29. I mean, I like to get strong in rep ranges. If you want to test your 1 rep max, that's fine, but don't do it more than a couple times a year. These guys that are doing it every week, they don't understand the nature of strength training. You got to have an off season. You got to have a building season where you're building some muscle and building some strength. You just don't go balls to the wall every single week. So just keep that in mind. Alan, I'm 60. Can I build muscle at my age? Absolutely. You can build muscle. I was just talking about this yesterday on my Massive Iron Facebook group. I used to train with a 70-year-old guy, and I didn't train with him. He wasn't my partner, but he trained at a gym in South Carolina where I lifted. He was 70. He benched 405. Now, obviously, he was a freak, but there are, you always need to push yourself in life within reason what your body can do. And you need to find ways to push yourself at every age, because activity and movement is life. And do what you can do and just find ways to get stronger at it. You can absolutely build muscle. Women build muscle with very low testosterone relative to men. And a man that's 60, they might not have the testosterone that they had when they were 20, but they still have a lot more testosterone than the average woman. That's just human physiology. So at 60, you need to focus on eating clean. You need to focus on taking care of your body, and you can absolutely build muscle. Just don't try to do the same old pitfalls that a lot of the young guys do, heavy, heavy, heavy all the time. Do volume work. Do 3-4 sets of 10 on dumbbell bench press, and add weight when you can, when it makes sense. Listen to your body, and you do that, you'll be absolutely fine. Frank, Thomas, and Steve, I ran across the Double Down workout on Tiger Fitness. Have been able to accomplish significant gains using this. Thanks so much. That is wonderful, and I'm always glad. I always love hearing feedback on the workouts that I create. So thank you for that. That means a lot because I put a lot of time and effort into coming up with different workout approaches just to give you guys some different things to try. So Minto says 2 eggs, 2 pieces of toast. Victor, hey, big hairy ugly dude, do you think weighted dips can replace bench press if you have shoulder issues from benching? Dips don't seem to hurt my shoulders as much. That's good. I mean, if your shoulders are hurting on bench, you probably need to stop doing them for a while, or maybe consider variations like dumbbell bench or incline dumbbell bench. Dips can be good. Just with weighted dips, don't add weight in low rep ranges. Especially if you have a shoulder issue, try to do 10, 12, 15 rep sets. Try to do 3, 4, 5 of them. And then when 3 or 4 sets of 10 to 15 reps feel manageable, then add 2.5 pounds. Don't rush to add weight. Let the weight come to you. This is play the long game. Take care of your body. So I hope that helps. Jacob says you have great advice. Thank you. I appreciate it. Hey, big hairy ugly dude, you should dumbbell bench press heavy enough without risking to tear a pec. Should you dumbbell bench press heavy enough without risk? I don't understand. I don't understand the question as it's written. I don't like max work on dumbbell stuff. It's just kind of silly to me. I don't. That's just my opinion. I don't like it at all. I like dumbbell stuff for volume work, and sloppiness is sloppiness. If you're going to toss around heavy weight and be sloppy, you're going to risk tearing something. If you're going to do sloppiness frequently, you're going to increase the risk of tearing something. A dumbbell bench press, I just prefer volume work. I just do, and I prefer it to be controlled. So, coffee. What's going on? The Larsons are in the house. Shovel snow. Let's see. Trying to get to your questions. Gunther, can you get great legs with 2 80-pound dumbbells? If so, what exercises? Let me have some coffee and digest that question. If I only had 80-pound dumbbells, what would I do? Well, I would probably start with goblet squats for 15 to 20 reps. Sorry, my clients are blowing up my phone again. I sent them all a message before, but honestly, I don't think half my clients even know I'm on YouTube. I find a lot of them on Instagram, or a lot of them find me on Instagram. All right, back to the question. Dumbbell, 80-pound dumbbells, can you build legs? I would start with 10 to 20 rep sets of goblet squats, superset them with maybe body weight lunges or body weight squats. You can do things like jump squats. You can do some okay stuff with dumbbells. Can you build big legs? It's going to be challenging because even if you do goblet squats or even dumbbell lunges, you're going to have to do a lot of volume. You can probably add some leg size, but how big you can get your legs is going to be extremely, it's just hard to say because, I don't think you're going to certainly maximize your legs without bigger hitting exercises and more options, to be honest with you. Victor, can weighted dips replace? Let's see, I got that one already. Tom, how would you work progressive overload on a lateral raise when you never go heavy? That's a good question. There are certain exercises that simply don't have room for progression. And this is something I've talked about at times on this channel. When you look at exercises, you have to look at how much room is there for you to progress on that exercise. The more room there is for you to progress, the higher that exercise should be in your food chain. Now, there are lifts like lateral raises where after 33 years, I'm only doing 35 pounds. And I probably started with 25 pounds, to be honest with you. You have to come to the understanding that you can't get super strong on these exercises. What I did do, though, on the lateral raise is I do the bulldozer laterals, which allow for more room for progression. And I find them to be more shoulder friendly. So I got creative. I want you to search bulldozer laterals, massive iron. It's a one-arm lateral. You catch it down here. You take the momentum out and then you power it up. So it's more explosive. You're starting across your body. You're starting right down about here. Those I can get up to 60, 65 pounds with. They feel better on my shoulders. And at the end of the day, on movements that don't have a lot of room for progression, you have to either do a lot of volume, you have to treat them as finisher exercises or superset exercises. You do them as finishers, as part of a superset with a bigger hitting exercise, or you do them with volume. That's really all you can do. You can't change the nature of an exercise. Matt G, good afternoon from the UK, and Happy New Year to you and your lovely lady. Thanks, same to you, Matt. Minto, let's ban shoulder flies, all right. Ryan, what's going on from Canada? Tridosac, my take on dips is that to be effective for chest, you have to make sure you position yourself correctly to focus on chest rather than triceps. It's a compound movement, and there's certainly some things you can do to place more focus on the chest, but as long as you're not sacrificing shoulder health to get in some odd angle, you're okay. Mr. Mimo, hey Steve, is some sort of short cardio required before weightlifting? No. The function of cardio before weightlifting, there's really a couple functions. And really, you don't want to do a lot at all. But one of the things you want to do during a warm-up is make sure your body temperature is elevated a little bit. You want to get your body temperature up. You want to get moving. Now, do I do 5 to 10 minutes of lifts on a treadmill to do that? No. Why? Because when I'm warming up on squats, when I'm warming up on bench, when I'm warming up on deadlifts, you know, like I'll start with the bar on deadlifts for 2 sets of 10, and then I'll do 135, and then I'll do 225, and then I'll do 315 and 405 and 495. All that work, those 20 to 30 minutes of warm-up sets, I'm moving, my body temperature is coming up just from that physical activity. That's why I don't do that sort of thing. Another benefit of doing lifts before working out is if you have some fascia stiffness in your muscles, you can kind of loosen up a little bit. So if you're a little bit stiff, it's a good idea to loosen up a little bit. If you're a little bit cold, it's a good idea to warm up the body temperature. You just understand the nature of a warm up, and you can do it properly to align with that nature. Minto says pick up a hooker. Okay, thank you. Ryan, spot on. Adam, thanks. Steve, love the rant. Thanks. I appreciate you guys tolerating my rants. Sometimes, you know, I go off on rants and then I kind of regret ranting, but, you know, at the end of the day, it is just exercise. And if some guy in a room wants to rack pull above the knees, you know, is it efficient? Is it effective? You know, at the end of the day, who cares? It's just some guy exercising. Why do we need to start the Third World War over it? Zen60 says, BHUD champion of the fact acceptance movement. If you go over to my Instagram, you'll see I'm also hated by the fat acceptance movement for saying things like obesity is linked to cancer. So, or obesity results in higher cancer rates, that sort of thing. Eric, hi from Brazil. What is the best replacement for deadlifts? You can't really replace a deadlift. So there's no specific replacement for deadlift, but if I was looking to do a next best exercise, it would be like a hex bar deadlift would be your next step down. A rack pull from 3 to 5 inches. Those are exercises that can give you deadlift strength, but aren't the specific barbell deadlift from the floor. If you are moving beyond that, it depends on what your goals are. If your goals are to build back, do you need the deadlift specifically? No, even though I love to see it in your programming. That's the optimal way for me to program back, is to have a deadlift, a horizontal row, and a vertical pull or row at minimum. You can do lots of rows, lots of pull downs, all those different kinds of variations. And still, oh, I think we died here. Nope, I think we're back. Sorry, my clients are still blowing up my phone, and it's causing this to freeze up. I apologize for that. I tried to let them all know that I was going on live at 10 a.m. But again, I think some of them lose track of what the time is. But I'm not sure if that helps. There's really no replacements for deadlifts. you know, you can do other exercises that'll help your deadlift strength or help mimic the deadlift, but there's really nothing to replace it. It's like, how do you replace the most beautiful woman in the world? Well, there's a step down, right? But she's never going to be the most beautiful woman in the world. So anyway, that was a bad analogy. All right. Aussie, in August, I snapped my ankle off my foot in parkour, and I need to build muscle back in my right calf. Any tips? I know you meant calf. It just sounded funny. You can do a lot. You can do some rocking calf raises, like body weight stuff. You're just standing here and you're rocking up. That you can do a lot of body weight stuff like that. You can do jump squats because you're in a parkour, jump squats, where you're pushing off at the end with your calf. That's you need to do probably some volume calf work to build in some strength. Things like jump squats, body weight calf raises, even things like lunges might be a benefit to build up your overall leg strength. But I'm no expert as far as parkour, but in your calf, jump squats are really probably something you want to consider. And if you're in a gym, you probably want to do seated or standing calf raises just to build up some base strength. Raphael, hey, Steve, I'm a little bit late to the party. Was going to say thank you. Been building my workout, mirroring your upper-lower split. It's been great. Thank you for that feedback, Raphael, and continue to keep killing it in the gym. Elijah, how can someone tell if they're completely exhausted a muscle during a set or if they're just being lazy and don't want to push out max effort? How can you tell if you completely exhausted a muscle? Well, at some point in time, you just need to trust your programming. The point isn't necessarily to exhaust a muscle. The point isn't to punish a muscle. The point is to stimulate muscle and strength. And how do we know that we've properly stimulated muscle and strength? Well, I know there's a lot of hype in the lifting industry about punishing and, destroying a muscle and all that kind of stuff. But, if you do a good program that's put together wisely, that's put together by somebody that knows programming, and you just follow that for a long period of time, that's all you really need to do. That's all you really need to do is stick to the program and trust the process and stay consistent. You don't need to punish or pump or do any crazy stuff in the gym. Victor, greetings from California. Very helpful. Thank you, Victor. Ben on Adventures, what is your definition of volume? I've heard some say it's weight times reps times sets. Yes, it is. That's tonnage. That is tonnage. Volume for me, because look, progressive overload is something we're striving to do in everything we do in the gym. We want to progressively challenge ourselves. When we do so, we get bigger, we get stronger, we get faster, we build up our conditioning level, whatever we're doing, running or hiking or, dumbbell bench press. Volume, so progressive overload or the weight itself doesn't matter. And just hear me out here. It matters, but it doesn't matter. When I talk about volume, I'm talking about sets by reps, okay? Because your volume is going to increase, your tonnage, sets by reps by weight, is going to increase as you get stronger. That's a natural outcome of progressive overload. So sets by reps is the foundation. That's your set volume. That's your set and rep volume. And that's usually what I'm referencing when I'm referencing volume, because you can't reference volume and include tonnage in it. But what I mean is, like, if you're doing 5 by 10 on bench press, that's 50 reps with 100 pounds. You can't, it's going to be different for everybody based on the amount of weight they are moving. So I look at sets and reps for an exercise or for a workout because progressive overload is a given. What's going on? Finish strength. Ryan, how much coffee is too much? I drink 4 or 5 cups a day. If you still have a pulse, you're probably doing all right. The only thing I would say is, Ryan, don't overdo the stuff you add to your coffee. As long as it's black, you're going to be okay. Ben on Adventures, I do volume on many sets, working the 8 to 20 rep range. That sounds perfect to me. How do you feel about Body Fortress protein and Body Fortress products in general? I do not know a lot about the current state of Body Fortress. I believe the old school Body Fortress protein powder used to have creatine in it, and that they did that basically to spike it. I believe I'm talking about the same company. If I am talking about not the same company, I apologize. But look, you get what you pay for. You really do. And even then, you got to be careful and do your research on these companies. Buying something cheap, and I don't know if they're cheap. I haven't looked at Body Fortress's price in a while. But just because, I will say this, just because something is at Walmart or Walgreens doesn't mean it's quality. Okay, it just means their brand got big enough where they can sell units, and Walmart took interest in it, or Walgreens. So you are better off if you don't use a lot of protein powder. Use something from a company like MTS Whey. I work at Tiger Fitness. We have our, MTS Whey is our house brand. We know the quality. We care about the quality, and that's no BS. And there are other companies out there that do the same thing. We sell their products as well. But you have to do your research because it can be a shady industry. And don't just look at price. You also want to look at quality as well. Zen, can I add a few warm-up exercises to the Massive 6 workout without overtraining? Absolutely. You certainly can. It'll be nearly impossible to overtrain on that program. That program will challenge you. But just don't warm up to the point where you are fatigued going into your heavy work. Raphael, I've been having some tightness behind my shoulder blades. It feels like a little ball is stuck there every time I take a deep breath. Any advice? If it feels like it's always there, it sounds like some kind of an issue. It could be some sort of wacky impingement. It could be something that has torn and repaired incorrectly, or it just could be some kind of a knot. But if it's there for a long period of time, you probably need to go see a doctor if you can't roll it out. I would try to roll it out, see if foam rolling helps. But if not, you might need to see a physician for that. Anne Marie McDermott, what's up, Steve? Happy New Year. Happy New Year to you. Projects, tips for elder training. I assume you mean for old people. Just clarify that and let me know if you mean old people, because I'm old people. Matthew, I like to mix calisthenics and weight training in my routine. Is this beneficial for maximal gains? I do calisthenics in here. We do calisthenics every single day. We do whatever we want, but we do them. Is it beneficial for maximal gains? Well, weight training is maximal gains. Weight training is its own separate entity. Will calisthenics help maximize gains? Well, they will help bring up your conditioning level. They'll help bringing up your fitness level, which might facilitate better progress or how you are able to handle resistance training. But if so, only by a small degree. They're two separate things, usually done for two separate reasons. And just do what you like. Just do what you like. Just make sure that your weight training is spot on and you are progressing properly. Let me get some coffee. Braden, sometimes it's better to have passion and be wrong rather than be the guy who is right with no heart. Yeah, that's probably... passion can help you run through a wall. What's going on, Gary Thomas? Passion can help you run through a wall, even if it's not the best way to go through a wall, even when there's a door standing right there. So sometimes you're wrong and you run through the wall instead of walking through the door. I do that myself. Man, I've made videos on this channel where I made a video and like, man, I probably should have done a little bit more research before speaking about that. Like my video on hip thrusts. I mean, people got a little bit offended that I find the exercise to look silly. And I do. I mean, I'm sorry. It looks silly. I never said it was a bad exercise. It just looks silly, and it's nothing, it's just nothing I find enjoyable. That's really all I said. But, I kind of walked through a wall on that one. Braden, would you say utilizing weighted carries and HIIT training in the same day to be beneficial? Beneficial. If you like doing it, do it. If you like doing it, absolutely do it. It's beneficial if you find enjoyment in it. There are a million ways to work out and challenge your body. And there are a million combinations. You can do weighted carries. You can do sandbag overhead presses. You can do 200 reps of body weight squats. There's so many tools at your disposal. Are they beneficial? If you enjoy doing them, they are. But at the end of the day, you need to understand your goals. And if your goals are just general fitness with a little bit of muscle, just make sure you got some resistance training work in there. Make sure you got some progressive overload. Beneficial is what you find to be enjoyable. Let's not steal the joy out of what we do. If you like doing them, do them. If you have a specific goal, then you need to program for that specific goal to optimize the rate at which you get to that specific goal. And in that context, if weighted carries are part of your program, then certainly they have benefit. But without knowing a specific goal, to be honest with you, it's hard to say if they are beneficial for a specific goal. But if you like doing them, they are always beneficial. Let's see, Chad. We're at 56 minutes, but guys, I'm going to keep rolling as long as I got your questions, as long as you guys stay on here, because I'm pretty much free this Saturday. So just keep ramming the questions. I'll stay on. Chad, started doing hack squats recently and expected to be strong, but I was much weaker than my barbell squat. If you're talking about barbell hack squats, which I assume you are, or even machine hack squats, they're a challenging exercise. They really are. Either variation, barbell hack squats or machine hack squats, and they're two different, completely different beasts, but both are extremely challenging. A punch to the head. I just ate eggs and a Snickers as a post-workout meal. Any objections? No. Zen 60, not a bad analogy. The deadlift is a beautiful lift. I held my high school record for the deadlift 40 years ago. Hector Torres, will running 6 to 7 miles a week make me lose muscle on a cut? You know what? I don't think so. I think that's a reasonable amount of cardio. 6 to 7. I mean, I was on a cut and I ran quite a bit. That's a reasonable amount of running. And you know, at the end of the day, when you're on a cut, just remember that we need to take care of our body. We need to have fun. We need to do what we love to do. And muscle memory is a real thing. When you have muscle, even if you do lose a pound or two during a cut, at the end of a cut, it comes back, because that's the way muscle memory works, as long as you're training properly in the gym. So don't worry about that. Just do what you love to do and trust that muscle memory will take care of you. Steve, what are your stats now in metric? Whoa, John L. Sorry. Steve, John L. wants to know what my stats are in metric. I couldn't, if you had a gun to my head and asked me to tell you my height in centimeters, and that I had 5 seconds, I would be dead. So I have no idea. I'm sorry. I can't think in centimeters and meters. Ben Adventures, I drink black coffee with 0-calorie peppermint chocolate flavoring. That sounds delightful. If you like the peppermint. Let's see. Slum King, Big Hairy Ugly Dude, what's up? How do you feel about cycling movements bi-weekly versus changing a whole workout? How do you feel about cycling movements bi-weekly? You're talking about exercise rotation. This is something I've spoken about a lot. I like to do it, and it's something I've done a lot over the years. For example, my program for about 10 years was to go in week 1 and do bench press and then dumbbell incline. Week 2, I would do like dumbbell, or I would do barbell incline or barbell decline, and then dumbbell, flat bench dumbbell or something. I'd rotate exercises because I found enjoyment in doing that. I didn't always find doing the same exercises week in and week out to be fun. I built a lot of strength on everything. I find that if you do the major compound movements about every other week, that's really all you need to do for like things like dumbbell bench and barbell bench and dumbbell rows and barbell rows. That's about all you really need to do to build strength and to remain proficient at those exercises. Now, Squats are a different beast. I'd always squat every week because I find when I don't squat every week, I lose kind of my mental connection with the form. So I would definitely squat every week. Elijah, is it normal to have tightness or muscle spasms in your lats from time to time? Yeah. I mean, lifting can do some crazy stuff to your body. Your your muscles, your tendons. I just made up something new. Your ligaments, your ligaments, all that kind of good stuff is changing. Your joints, they're growing stronger. Your bone density is changing. You're really challenging your physiology, and wacky things. You're going to get wacky things like muscle spasms and random cramps and random phantom pains for no reason. They're part of the process. You'll never be able to explain them, and just don't worry about them. That's all I can say. Have you heard about the crazy workout called nucleus overload? Yeah, I have. I have, and it's no better than any other workout in the long run. Edward Goose, that sounds like a bad idea. Missed what that's about, so sorry. Mid 70s to early 80s, should I decrease the amount of exercise in the program compared to a standard weight lift? If you are in your 70s or 80s, I would definitely start with a low to moderate volume of work. Definitely a low to moderate volume of work. And it's going to be all it's going to be all experiential. You're going to have to figure out what works for you and what is the sweet spot for you. But at that age, you definitely come in low, and then you add where you feel you can add and change where you feel you should change. So you're wise, you're seasoned, you understand that it's best to start slow and change based on what your body is feeling. That is the best way to do things. But you also need some type of program or protocol to challenge yourself, and you need that system in place. So just have some kind of solid system in place where you know how you're going to challenge yourself. Lou Barbary, hey Steve, my heavy medium split has progressed to heavy. Kill me now heavy. How much often should I back off? All right, Lou has a split where it was heavy and medium, and now it's heavy and kill me now heavy. How much should I back off? I would need to know a lot more about the specifics of your program, Lou. I'm a program guy. I love programs. But without looking at the program, it's real. And I'd like to see the numbers, the weights, the sets and reps. You can send it to me on Instagram at Ben the Barman. I'd love to take a look. Jonathan, yes, I agree. I'm just curious about the madness behind this theory. Sorry, Jonathan, I'm not sure what theory that is. I lost track, so post it up again. Braden, in regard to my question, I usually do weighted carries on a day where I do compound back workouts. Weighted carries are a good thing. Weighted carries are an exercise that always have value. You can find them a way to put them in your program. Just do them. I usually do them or I would recommend doing them on days where you are doing posterior chain work like squats or deadlifts. What's going on, Jay Parker? Matthew, is cardio necessarily for cutting, or does it mostly just come down to diet? Cutting is 90% diet. Exercise really isn't the prime mechanism for diet. But with that said, from knowing the folks that I'm coaching about 35 people right now, and probably 30 of them are weight loss. The more exercise you get, the better it tends to help when you're running that fine line between losing only a pound a week and losing 2 pounds a week. Exercise helps. It really does. It's not magic, but you should be doing some cardio because it will only help. And I know that we talk about, calorie deficit being everything. And that's true to a point, but activity levels, there's so many variables in the human body. Stay active. Stay active for health. Stay active for all the reasons you should stay active. No one should ever be inactive. Stay active, and it will only help on your cut. Let's see. Elijah, how can I get your program? Need a better meal plan. Never know if I'm hitting my calories or not. There are many ways I can help you, Elijah. You can DM me on Instagram at Ben the Barman. You can also go to my site, superlivingtoday.com. I do workout assessments. All my information's there in the menu. I do a diet assessment, or I do full-blown coaching, which is first month free. So you can message me and we can kind of figure out what kind of help you need. Meet. Hey, big hairy ugly dude, how would you program Olympic lifts into a 3-day push-pull leg split? Love your channel. That's a good question, and you know I'm no Olympic lift expert, but I have played around with them enough to at least know what some of the major lifts are. Like, one of the ways I loved doing power cleans or hang cleans or clean variations was after deadlifts. I found that once my central nervous system was locked and loaded after deadlifts, doing like really heavy hang cleans or even doing power cleans afterwards made a lot of sense. Things like, so you can do things like that. On squat day, you could try to work in overhead squats. On your push day, you could also do push presses. Your push day is obviously going to be your chest-centric stuff. So your pull day, you might have power cleans or hang cleans or stuff like that. Your push day, you probably want to work in some push presses. So you could probably work in, just some hang cleans, and then press. And then on squat day, maybe just some overhead squats, some stuff like that. I'm not sure if that helps, but I'm just trying to think on the fly here. Let's see, Sisyphus, hope you had a good Christmas. Thank you. We did. Nathan, I just saw a CrossFit guy at my gym doing dangerous-looking pull-ups. Why is it that their workout looked like they're legitimately designed to cause harm? Now, if you do any exercise for time, like anything that is technical, or anything that is a resistance training focus, or like pull-ups, that if you do something over time, the goal is to do as many as you can over time, and that inherently puts form on the back burner. So if you're going to do deadlifts for time, you're going to be sprinting, you're going to be running fast, and a lot of times it's at the expense of form. If you're going to be doing pull-ups for time, the mentality is to do as many as you can, sometimes at the expense of form. What I like folks to do, and what I preach in my book Massive Iron, what I preach in general, because we're about a lifestyle of longevity and health and feeling good and taking care of your body, is to never do a rep with crappy form. That's the way I like things to do. Unless you're doing something crazy, every now and then you're going to challenge your body with something crazy. That's okay occasionally, as long as you know the risk factors. Like when I did the Sit-Fu workout, we did deadlifts every minute on the minute for an hour. So you can do fun, challenging stuff. You just have to know that there's risk involved. Ben on Adventures, can you talk about a variety of fitness? Steven Arnell, the guy who plays Arrow, mainly does parkour 3 times a week and weights the other 3, and he looks great. Looking great is a factor of having a base degree of muscle mass and having a degree of leanness, and obviously conditioning and fitness and that stuff's important as well. You have to have, if you want to look good, you have to have some degree of resistance training. If you want to perform well, there's a lot of things you can do. I like hiking. I like body weight stuff. I like calisthenic stuff. And I never used to do a lot of that stuff, but I like the way it makes me feel. I like having control over my body. I like to be able to get up every day and do anything. I like to be able to get up and do 200 body weight squats or 200 TRX pull-ups or go hiking for 10 miles. So being well-rounded, there's so many benefits to that, so many benefits. And I think it's a good goal for most people. I mean, why wouldn't you want to be well-rounded? If you're training for a specific sport like powerlifting, like I used to, then by all means, just go deep in that sport and see what you can do. But for the rest of us, there's no downside to being well-rounded. JH, what's your opinion on caffeine and health? I've stopped taking coffee for 3 months. It was hard at first. There's a lot of caffeine's going to be person specific. There's a lot of information how caffeine can actually help focus and all this kind of stuff. But, you know, caffeine, if you have anxiety, it could contribute to anxiety as well, because it is a stimulant, and it could, you know, it could work in negative ways as well. So it's highly personal. If you find value in it, use it. If there are some possible downsides for you and your lifestyle and your existing conditions, and don't use it, that's probably the best I can, you know, the best answer I can get. Berlin, what are the benefits of bulking? I've done many videos on bulking. I would search bulking massive iron for more information. I talk a lot about bulking too aggressively. It's just a fat gain program. And that's some information you have to look up that I've presented on this channel previously. Davis, I eat clementines right now and watch this dude answering questions here. I like it. I really do. And it was hardcore gym session yesterday. Nice community. Thanks. I appreciate you being part of it, Davis. John Jorgensen is on day 23 of 10-100. My scale until the end of no scale until the end, but his pants dropped another size. John is doing crazy good. One of the challenges of the 10-100 is to see if you can go 100 days, just sticking to this program, not even looking at the scale. And John is doing that. He's a beast. You can find out more about the 10-100 program at my site, superlivingtoday.com. What's going on, Alexander? Alexander is one of my clients. Hey, Steve, can you talk about the different muscle fibers in different body parts? How are they trained? Well, that's a topic that's really best for a specific video. It's hard to get into that type of thing because that's like, no offense, Alexander, but that's like asking, you know, how do you build muscle? It's a very complex topic that really can't be covered in a short video. So I'll see if I can find some good information. I've edited some good articles on that, and I'll see if I can get it across to you. I just don't have time to talk about it in this video. Let's see. Let me find. Okay, I think we're almost at the end of the questions here. Elijah, you guys have a gym that you train people. I'm in Connecticut, but down for a road trip. Yeah, right here. I mean, this is my gym. You can't really see it in this video. We got mats down. You can see the blue matting. Just basic work right here. Squats, bench, deadlifts, dumbbell work, cardio work, calisthenic work. Anybody can come to Ohio and train with me. This guy give me a little bit of notice. Robert Moore, wish I could get your links to work. I can't get them to load. You are awesome. If you have any issues finding anything that I've made or created, just send me a message on Instagram and I'll find the program for you. All right, guys. Hour and 12 minutes. All the questions are gone. I'm going to head out. I appreciate you guys joining me. Just a reminder, I'm here every morning at 10 a.m. on Saturday. Let my clients know because they tend to blow up my phone when I'm on YouTube video, even though I let them know I'm on YouTube. But I love them all. Appreciate them all. Appreciate you guys. Come back next Saturday at 10 a.m. I'm here every week. So what are you doing?
I was wondering where you were.
So guys, as always, thanks for watching, and
stay super sexy.
Stay super sexy, people. The fate of the world might just depend upon it.